you'll see is we changed team colors. There's our projected uniforms. There's also going to be a red outline to the logo and numbers. So we'll have black with white numbers trimmed in red, and then white uniforms with black numbers trimmed in red. So we're going with black, white, red this year, moving away from the purple and white. And we'll have home and away uniforms. The goal is that since we have no seniors on the team, the goal was that these are going to be 2-year uniforms. That's our goal. So hopefully we can take good care of these at the end of the season, hang them up somewhere nice and keep those and use these for the next 2 years. That way we can invest in home and away full uniforms this year. So afterwards, if you want to take a look, feel free to come over. All that's part of the registration price. That's not additional. That's already built in. Just some details about, so 2 parts to this conversation. One's just some details about the team. The second part of the conversation is going to be more directed toward the players and expectations for this season. Some information about the team. Registration is open. This year we're going to have separate high school and middle school teams. Last year was one team because low numbers. This year the numbers are up. We can have a separate high school and middle school team. Practices are on the same evenings. The majority of the games are on the same evenings, but we'll be practicing at different times. Middle school will practice Tuesdays from 6 to 7:30 at Keystone Baptist. High school will practice from 7:30 to 9:30 at Keystone on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we're here. Practice for middle schools 5:30 to 7, high school 7 to 9:30. So same nights, but we're going to have 2 different teams and 2 different schedules. So last year, I think we only played 5 middle school games. This year, there's like 16 or 17 middle school games and 22, 23 high school games. It's actually a few more high school games than we played last year. We played, I think, 18 games over 17 days. We've increased the number of games, but we have a few double headers mixed in so that we could get some games in. So we've got, there's 3 Saturdays during the season where we actually play high school double headers. We'll play midday and afternoon on those days to increase the number of games. If you've seen the schedule, you'll notice some differences from last year. Last year we played 1 home game. This year we played 8. So we've increased the number of home games, which means we're not on the road as often. Last year we were road warriors. So to give you some examples, like last year we played in Hagerstown 3 times. This year we're only playing in Hagerstown once. Last year we played in Front Royal 4 times. This year we played there twice. So we've decreased some of the trips to get some home games. And we've also added more homeschool teams to the schedule. So we eliminated 3 or 4 private schools that we played last year, some by their choice, at least one by my choice, and then added homeschool teams. So we're playing more games, similar number of days, but we were able to get more teams by adding more homeschool teams. So we're playing 3 of the homeschools we didn't play last year: Fairfax, Richmond Spirit, Harrisonburg Lightning, and all 3 of those teams are coming here. I wanted to get them here instead of us traveling to Richmond and Harrisonburg, so they all agreed to come here to play us. And then for the homeschool teams we played last year, we generally played all of them once. This year we're going to play them twice because we're going home and home with all the other homeschool teams. So more games, not quite as much travel involved, more homeschool teams, which will help get us ready for postseason when we play in homeschool tournaments. We'll be back at East Coast again this year. It's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee again. Last year we got our first taste of what that's about. This year my intention is to go down there and win the thing. And last year was our first year. We were inexperienced. We were very young. We took our lumps, but we've got almost the whole team back plus some more additions. So we're older, we've got more depth, we're more athletic, we're more skilled. And my position is this year we go down there, and for those that were down there last year, you know how they bracket it off for the different A, 2A, 3A, 4A. I'm not necessarily going down there to win just a bracket. I'm going down there to win the bracket.
Nice.
I want to win the overall bracket. I think with what we've got coming back and what I saw last year. Keep in mind, for those that played last year, we played in a bracket with two of the top 5 teams in the pool, in the whole thing, were in our bracket. They finished as the 3 and 5 seeds. We had to put up with both of them. The 3rd place team in our group was in the 2nd bracket because they were good enough, even by losing to the other 2 really good teams, good enough to make the 2nd bracket. So we really played probably 3 of the top 8 seeds in the entire bracket last year. So from what I see, what we've got coming back, there's no question in my mind that we have the ability to compete with High Point, the team, Cap City, Knoxville. We've seen what they got, and I know now we're as athletic as they are. And they have some guys moving up, we don't. So I think we can be pushed. So that's my goal. Our roster size. Right now, I've got 10 boys that have said they're playing high school and 8 that said they're playing middle school. We're happy with those numbers. I'm willing to go to 12, and we'll keep registration open to see if we get to 12 for high school. I don't know what Troy's number is for middle school. He's probably willing to go to at least 10. I'll take 12. If we get to 12, I'll cut off registration at that point. If I go more than 12, then you start having to deal with a lot of playing time issues. So speaking of playing time, our team's hybrid. We technically qualify as junior varsity. We're in the age range of junior varsity. When we play at East Coast, we're going to enter as junior varsity. We've seen what the varsity teams are down there. They've got college recruits recruiting the varsity players in that tournament. We're not there yet. We're going to go down there and we'll still be junior varsity because we're going to be in our age range to do so. And the whole team qualifies. So we might as well go down there and compete with the teams like we played in our bracket last year, and this year turn around and beat them. Because we're a bit of a hybrid, though, I'm not limiting our season schedule to just junior varsity. We're going to play a mix. We might as well get the experience. To be honest, there's some varsity teams out there we can beat. In fact, I would make the argument based on what I know about the other teams we're playing, we can compete with every varsity team on our schedule this year. I tactfully scheduled varsity versus JV based on what I know about our opponents. So when it's a team that I felt like we can compete with, I asked them to do varsity. And then some of the upper tier teams, we're doing JV. There's a few teams we're doing both. Some of those teams we will play JV and varsity on the same day. For example, I think it's December 18th when we go to Fredericksburg. We play Victory Homeschool. We're playing JV and varsity. The way that will work is the plan right now is that the varsity starters will sit the JV game. That's why I want to get to 12, because the other 7 will play all the minutes in the JV game. That's going to give everybody some extra time. And there's multiple games like that, at least 3 that I can remember, maybe more, where we do JV varsity. There's at least one other game that is a JV game that we promised we wouldn't play anybody over the age of 15 as of right now, because they're the youth of their team. That may change. I got to talk to the coach later to see if they had any additions, but we'll see. For the varsity games, there's no guaranteed playing time. JV, yes. Varsity, no. If we get to 12, I can't guarantee I can get 12 guys onto the court in a varsity game in and game out. So I want to make sure the expectations are, if you're playing, you're going to get playing time, because JV games, everybody can rest, everybody will play. There's some teams that I think we'll be able to jump out on and get everybody in, or regardless of varsity or JV. But realistically, there's going to be some games during the year where we're playing a highly competitive team. We've got an opportunity to win, and we're going to try to take some of those. But I say that to set those expectations that there's not guaranteed playing time every game, but there's not going to be a shortage of playing time. There'll be plenty. Every time we build a lead, or if in the unfortunate situation we have quite the lead built on us, I can get everybody into a game. And I'm going to have a strong rotation, and we're going to be we'll need to have a rotation. Our style of play is high octane, very different from what you guys saw last year. I will tell you, you can throw away everything you learned last year. We are not playing that offense. We are not playing that defense. It's not what I wanted to do at the beginning of the year, but you create your recipe based on the ingredients you had, and we didn't have depth. Now we do. Last year we played a lot of zone defense. I'm not a zone guy. I never have been, but I forced it. We're moving man-to-man. We full court press. And our offense is going to be a constant motion. You will see in the first 3 practices exactly what our style of play is. Our very first practice will be full court press for 2 hours. Our second practice will be half court defense, man-to-man, for 2 hours. And our third practice will be our half court offense, full motion, 2 hours, almost nonstop. We'll need the rotation. That's why I want the numbers. Guys are going to get tired. And I want to be able to go to the bench anytime I need to. I'm counting on at least 8 guys playing in the first quarter every game, just based on the fact that we're going to be so far up and down the court that I'm going to need to keep a steady rotation of players going. That's why I say playing time's not going to be, there's not going to be a shortage on playing time. Offensively, like I said, it is a motion offense. Be ready to run, cut, flash. I showed the guys who were here the final day of the league camp in June, I showed what the offense looks like and explained to them then. The offense creates 5 scoring opportunities in 7 seconds. There are 5 cuts and flashes in 7 seconds. We're going to move quickly to create a disadvantage. I like to play the numbers, so I always play to the disadvantage. So our styles could be up and down, so we'll have to be in shape and ready to go. Check my notes. Whenever the practice schedule, game schedule, tournament experience, I talked about that a little bit. I mean, it's always been, Chris Davis will tell you, the tournament's always been a big hit with the players. I mean, we go down there and in the course of 4 days, we play 5 games against other homeschool teams. And it's quite the experience because you've got 6 games literally going on at the same time because there's 6 courts. You're playing a game and you've got 5 other games going on around you. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament where you go to one site and watch multiple games, except instead of watching them one after the other, you're watching them all at the same time. So you got a lot of activity going on. It's pretty entertaining. You got different fan bases. You had a couple of them that had their design chants that still are ringing in my head to this day. But it's quite the experience. We had a lot of fun last year. Whenever style play. So one of the questions I've got that I want to get out there is, and it goes back to playing time. From time to time we get questions about how competitive we are. And I tried to explain that a little bit, but different people have different definitions of competitive. Usually when people ask how competitive they are, they're interested in playing time. So I address playing time. We are competitive. I mean, we're trying to provide a basketball experience to the homeschool kids equivalent to what you get in the school systems. This isn't rec league. I mean, there's other rec leagues. We don't play rec league basketball. We're here to compete, to learn, to grow, develop, win when we can. But at the same time, everybody's going to develop. Like I said, everybody's going to find plenty of playing time during the year. But we are a pretty competitive group. I always found in my lifetime, while I enjoyed playing time and there's a lot to like, it was always just a little bit more fun if I was actually winning too. So we'll have fun, but we're going to have more fun with some wins mixed into that. And then the final thing before I get into expectations, fundraising. You know, we try to keep costs low by fundraising. Fundraising is important because, like I said, we're playing more home games this year. We've actually got home and away uniforms. So we've got a couple of fundraisers planned. One is coming up at the end of September. There's a link on Facebook. We'll probably put out another reminder. We're doing a double good popcorn sale. Very easy. All you have to do is click the link, go online, take 2 minutes to set up an online shop, and you're done. Then you just have to email and put on social media that it's there for your friends and family to go order something from. You don't have to deliver anything. You don't have to collect money. It's all online. They deliver. They take payment. All we do is set it up. But it's got a really good history of good money making for organizations. We'll have that later in the year. We're probably going to do a Krispy Kreme selling again. We've also got some families that are willing to do something through their own businesses to raise some money. So we really want to be able to take advantage of these fundraising opportunities so that our registration is sufficient in addition to the fundraising that we'll have for the team. So that's just about the team a little bit. Anybody have any questions, anything before I get into more expectations for players? All right. So I talked about style of play. One of the terms that the players are going to hear a lot that we broke huddles with, and I will continue to use it because it fits our style of play better now and everything, is relentless. I will continue to beat the drum that we are a relentless style of team, a relentless play, relentless effort. So when we come on the court, we're looking at passion. We want to see passionate players enjoy the game, want to grow from it, want to develop, have a lot of fun. But when we say relentless, we're going out there with an attitude that, hey, we want to win too, and we're going to play hard to get there. So some of the things, some of the things in practice, for example, I want to make sure we have an attitude that we don't quit. We'll face adversity. We'll fight through that. In our practices, when we're on the court, we're not walking, and the ball doesn't stop unless I stop it. So if we're working on a drill, if we're practicing, if we're scrimmaging each other, if the ball gets away, somebody better get it. Because if that ball comes to a stop and nobody went and got it and we didn't, and we have to stop to get the ball, we'll just run for a little bit to make up for it. So the ball, I want the ball in play. I want us moving. I want us active. So we have a relentless attitude. With that, there's one letter you need to get familiar with. That's the letter H. And there's 3 words that start with the letter H that we talked about last year: heart, hustle, humility. If we're going to be successful and as a team and as an individual, you got to have heart, hustle, and humility. Heart is the passion to go out, achieve, to overcome obstacles and challenges. Hustle is the effort, and humility is the willingness to understand we're not perfect and we have plenty to learn. So you think of the heart as being the lifeblood. It's the organ pumping the blood. Well, we as a team, we want to have heart, that passion to play, the passion to help each other, and to develop. So a little demonstration I used for the team last year. Some of you have seen this. I'm going to do it again. Let me find. So here's the example I use. This rubber bands you. This is who you are. look at the potential an individual has, right? Oops. Here's one challenge that requires no effort. We can tackle that challenge all day long with no effort. The problem is we also don't expand our abilities or grow. So all right, we can take those challenges and we can take on another challenge. Now this challenge is more fitting our skill set because it really doesn't require much effort. We overcome it with really little stress. And with little stress, we can accomplish this challenge. But then as we grow, we start to face bigger challenges, bigger stress. So now there's a little stress there, but we're also overcoming a larger challenge by accepting the effort that it takes to get there. Now if you see where I'm heading with this, the challenges continue to grow. Can't we overcome this challenge? This is us as an individual, but when I talk about heart and passion, it's understanding, am I willing to take on that challenge? It looks huge. But that's why we have the passion to overcome that challenge. A little stress, a little effort, we're there. Until we get to the really big challenges, and now it's like, wait, can we really accomplish that? I don't know, but why not give it a shot? Our style of play, when I talk about relentless, is that we push the band until we know what our potential is. If you don't have anybody willing to push you to this, how do you get there? Do you stay here or do you meet these challenges? So we continue to grow and develop and overcome those challenges. And we've gone to initially being able to accomplish this to now growing into this. What I've seen out of our program in the past year is that some that have grown to face this challenge in basketball. I can point to some guys right here and guys who aren't here that have grown from this type of player to this type of player in the past year by giving the type of relentless effort we're looking for. The other thing I really like about our program is I've seen individuals grow individually as a person into this type of individual. There's individuals that have come on and played that faced a lot of personal obstacles and have grown. And that's something that we really look at here. It's not just about basketball. It's about so much more. So one of the things about last year's team, we say from day one, as soon as you step on the court, day one, we say you become family. This group becomes brothers from day one. As soon as you step on the court, you've accepted that you've now got you have a family, a group of other brothers you're playing with. By the end of the year, I didn't have to say anything about whether anybody was brothers. I had players calling each other brothers, which is where we want to get. Our team is also about a family of players. Because if you don't stick up for your family, who do you stick up for? And that's what we want to do. We want a family that we stick up for. Because the challenges we face, if this challenge is too big for this one individual, that's okay. We got a team of 5 players that link together and collectively face that challenge as a collective unit. Now, when I talk about humility, it's understanding that there's room for improvement. We have to be willing and accept that we're not perfect. Because if you lack humility and you're not receptive to instruction, defensive, then what happens? Get that tad. So somebody who isn't receptive limits their ability, because this is what we know they can achieve, but they're only willing to accept that they can do this. They believe this is sufficient. This is not going to go around that challenge. to talk about heart, willing to overcome it, the effort, the stress it takes to get there, the humility to work through and understand that I can achieve more if I'm willing to listen to it. So heart, hustle, and humility, to be honest, I'm probably going to have it printed on shirts and we will use them for our warm-ups. I think we just got to stick with that. That's got to be, it's routine. You need to, those three words need to become familiar. Through that, like I said, we develop a team, a family together. If you're looking for, we've got examples of that. You want to know what that looks like? Heart, hustle, humility, relentless. A couple of players, I don't think Patrick's here. Patrick, Eddie. I mean, you want to see what all of that looks like, you watch those two. You watch Eddie, you watch Patrick. They exemplify all of that to near perfection. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be the best players in the world, but they exemplify everything we stand for. Which is why I don't need to wait until the season to identify my captains this year. I mean, Eddie and Patrick's the team captains. So they're easy leaders and models to follow. So there's no question going into the season, Eddie and Patrick are team captains. That was an easy decision for me this year. Like I said, to wrap all that up, the expectation is that we have heart, hustle, humility, character matters. We carry ourselves with character, utmost respect. We respect where we're playing, and we demonstrate an attitude that deserves respect. The easiest way to get on my bad side is to not do that. You want to know the easiest way to lose playing time? Is demonstrate unsportsmanship. Because you'll find a seat next to me real quick if there's lack of sportsmanship. That is by far the easiest thing that will get into my doghouse. And that goes within our own team, to our own team, or to the other team. And I understand there's a difference between gamesmanship and unsportsmanship. Gamemanship happens in games. Sometimes things get said just because you're competing. It's an emotional sport. But there is a border. And usually I can identify that border and make the call when we've crossed that line. To sum all that up, I've said what the expectations for us is: character, the heart, the hustle, humility, what I think our team is capable of achieving. Understanding that we're successful as long as everybody understands that we have a system, offense, defense, what I've talked about, the style. Everybody has roles. We play within those roles. That's part of the humility, understanding the role on the court, playing with that to be successful. If we do all those things, we can win a whole lot of basketball games this year. But to summarize all that, I think when you look at other teams, you can find teams that can teach you techniques. You have teams that can motivate for more. You got teams that have a family atmosphere. I'm of the belief, and you may say because I'm the coach, I may just be saying it because I'm coach, but I believe it based on everything I've seen. I believe this is one of the only places you get all three of those. I think you can find you can find one or two of those things for a lot of other teams in the area. I don't know that there's anybody out there that gives you all three of those here. Like I said, this team last year became a family. I will preach that that's the type of atmosphere we carry, is a family atmosphere. So my statement, it's not a mission statement, it's more, I don't know. It's, if you want to play for a basketball team, there's a lot of options. You want to play for a family, you play here. And that's the attitude I have. And I believe we played with that attitude last year and we'll do it again this year. So, I've said a mouthful. I'm willing to say more if anybody has questions or anything else they want to discuss. Want to know more about the season, the team, expectations, anything. That's why we had this meeting, is to get the information out there.
Is the information stream still going to be mainly through Facebook?
I am toying with Game Changer app. So it may not be the only way. I'm either going to do that, or worst case scenario, I'm going to set up a group, a text group, so that when I have updates, I can just put it on text and it'll send it out to the group text. Because last year with COVID, who knows if it's going to happen again? I mean, we had a game get canceled 15 minutes before we were supposed to get there last year. And it was a 2-hour trip, so most of the team was already there when they canceled the game. So yeah, it'll be more than just Facebook. I just haven't set in stone exactly which route I'm going with that. Anything else? All right. Well, I look forward to the season. First official practice is September 30th. But these next couple of Thursdays, we are still going to be here doing some light development work. But then September 30th is when it gets real. And then we'll be practicing every Tuesday and Thursday thereafter. First game set for November 30th.